Haha! Oh shit, it's been a year. Welcome back, boys, to the Coffee Boys podcast.
Woo!
Yeah, this is episode 2. We're finally doing this. We almost forgot to do it because last year I had a whole table set up.
Yeah,
Had like 7 people.
way too many people. Now we're only you and me, Jeremy.
Yeah, but I think that's the point. No, it's the Coffee Boys, not the Coffee People.
Yeah, not the coffee group.
Yeah. So, Eric, tell us in 2 sentences what has your last year been?
My last year. All right, that's been a roller coaster.
You're down to 1 sentence.
It's been work, and it's been school, and it's been weird and fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot of commas.
Yeah, exactly. In that sense. Last year has been pretty good. Can't complain. Been making movies. I don't want to talk too much. It gets, I'm talking like 5 hours of this stuff. So I think best we move on. So Eric, how did you find Nuff?
Nuff was actually fucking incredible this year too. I mean, I don't think it will ever top last year's Nuff. Because last year's
last year's Nuff was like fucking nice.
Yeah, I have some of my fondest memories in all of my life from last year's Nuff.
Yeah. But this one's up there.
Yeah, this one is still fucking incredible.
Yeah. Okay, you can never replace Emil, you can never replace Aletta, you can never fucking replace Rory. But when it comes down to like the people we met this time,
Yeah.
they're some fucking awesome ass people, you know?
Yeah, we met Zara.
Sarah,
No,
yeah.
that's the wrong way to say it.
Sarah. Hey, shout out to Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah, we met Ulva. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Matthias was pretty cool. My Greenlandic fuckers.
Dennis
Silas,
and Dennis?
Dennis and Silas. Oh, what?
Dennis and Silas?
I mean, the other Dennis was just in my group, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah, who hung out with us were the best. Silas and Dennis, man.
Oh
Fuck
my
yeah.
god, they know how to live.
Yeah, they know how to party.
I mean, they really know how to live in Greenland, in like the most desolate place on earth.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I think for me at least last year, if you listen in last year's podcast, in episode 1, you can hear like me complaining a lot like about the group I was in making a film, because it was just a complete mess. It was a chaotic fucking mess.
I mean,
Worst case scenario for Nuff, like you get into a complete mess.
yeah, you were like top 3 worst cases, I think. I think the only one that tops that is
The interview
Oscar,
one, yeah.
Yeah, the Oscar nominee one.
There was that, but there was also one. You can actually find it. It's basically this chick. Oh god, it's no this guy. He made like they couldn't finish a film. It was a complete mess, and instead on the last day, one of the guys got the camera, interviewed everyone like really quick for fun, and quickly like cut it all together. And they gave that in like why the workshop didn't exist.
Jesus.
And it's actually a really funny video because you see like how they had no clue what they were doing. And fun fact, your buddy Maria.
Yeah. Oh, that was that group.
Yeah.
Oh
She
my
had the
God.
worst group. That's the number 1 worst group where they
Yeah.
handed in an interview explaining why they couldn't make a film together.
So this year we met a photographer at Nuff called Maria.
Yeah.
She is awesome.
Igloo. Her people are the Sami. Yeah, the
Sami people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a group, I think 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah, something like that.
where there was a megalomaniac. There was a weird South African girl who only wanted bananas.
Oh yeah. She's eating bananas in the video.
Yeah.
There was the Russian guy who like he, at one point like cause he was like he would used to like show up super late all the time, and like in the interview just cuts to him and goes, "I once filmed porn." Oh man. Oh god.
and she's been shell shocked by that experience.
Yeah.
I think that her photography, doing photography on this year's Nuff might have helped replenish her hope
Probably.
for what this workshop can be. Actually, this year had like no bad groups. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
There was
something
never. Fuck no. Oh, had you heard Sean's group?
no.
Oh, what a story do I have to tell? He had a horrible group. You know the group with the fucked up sound?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is, we talk about their sound being really bad, but like, the film was really badly like cut with like, you know, it didn't make sense, like the final cut. Because basically, what happened was Sean, and this is what Sean told me, that when they sat down, started talking about, you know, roles and who they are and stuff, none of them except him had actually made a film. The only
Oh.
other person who had actually worked properly in film was Oyvind, and Oyvind only did that because he goes to Nuff every year because
Yeah.
he lives here.
Yeah.
And so he was in a group who, you know, none of them ever wrote a script, none of them ever like directed or DP'd or edited, and that's fine. Because at the end of the day, it's extremely important to know that you can have no fucking clue about anything to do with film, and you can go to Nuff. You know, that's the point. It's just that Sean ended up. These were a group of people with like no like ambition or, you know, no initiative, and he, knowing how to direct and DP and edit, ended up doing it all on his own. So he wrote a story. He, you know, he filmed it, he directed it, and he was editing it, and he did all the fucking work.
Yeah.
And he spent like hours, like he was the only one doing anything. And then eventually there were, like, while he was like finishing up like the edit, and it was like you know 5 a.m. or something, some guy went up to him to joke and started laughing at something. Like, I don't know exactly what happened, but what I know is like it really was. I really like you don't do that, you know, like don't be a dick. And Sean's like, okay, fuck it, you know. He got up, he left, and he went to sleep. And he's like, I'm just gonna sleep, and then I'm gonna walk to the premiere, you know.
Yeah.
And in the meanwhile, the group, they fucked up. They were trying to export.
Yeah.
And they fucked up the footage, and it messed up for them. They also, all the scenes got like jumbled, and so they were trying to fix it in like, you know, an hour.
Yeah.
And they failed, and the sound was fucked. And then Sean basically went to the what's it called? He went to the premiere, and he was like, where the fuck is my film? You know, because it was just a complete like mess because they couldn't export it. You know.
Yeah.
And yes, there will always be at least one bad group. There will always be at least one group which fucks up.
Yeah.
That's normal.
So apparently Stian talked about exactly like their system for taking in people, right? And I think then by next year they'll be more focused on the people applying than just getting in the first entries, you know?
That's interesting. That's interesting.
So instead of having first one to apply its place, it's more like
first come first serve, you know.
yeah. Instead it'll be like, okay, you have an actual ambition for this.
Exactly.
Why don't you come here to us? And I think that would actually be the right approach.
Yeah, I mean, then again, I had people in my group which had zero experience, and they worked well, you know.
But it's not about like experience. It's about the drive to actually do something. The drive to actually want to do something.
There's
ambition.
an initiative to more than ambition. It's initiative, you know. Like, one thing I noticed, especially those who never actually made stuff, they wouldn't understand what it takes to make something.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you know, maybe it's me being too into the whole like AD work, where I become very kind of production sensitive.
Yeah.
So the second sounds like, oh shit, like, what about we make the guy walk on the roof? I'll be like, no, that's dangerous. You can fall and get hurt, and you'll get into lots of shit, you know. And they're like, no, but it's worth it, and this and that, and like, the AD in me says that lots of people who don't work in film would never understand that, like, having a character like being an extremely dangerous, like have an actor being an extremely dangerous spot is a no-go, you know,
Yeah.
like fuck the art, you know, fuck your bullshit. If he can actually fucking break his neck and die, like we're not filming it, you know. And there's a lot of people who, especially like the artsy types, who don't make films, and like, you know, what Eric told me earlier, like just record themselves taking a shit, like. It's basically it's basically they don't understand, you know, like, oh, the vision is the number one most important thing. Like, if a guy's gonna fucking break his neck and die, for fucking sure you're not gonna film that, you fucking idiots, you know.
Oh.
Oh.
On that topic, which is we're just straying slightly off Nuff
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
I worked on a music video for a dude who I met once, and he was like, "Hey, can't you just edit this for me, right?" So I say yes, I edit it for him. The thing is, this guy is not mentally stable, in the sense that he has mental breakdowns.
Oh shit.
And I tell him, like, while we're editing, like, you need to sort your life before you do this thing. Your life is not worth, you know, a movie that 3 people are gonna see.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
life is not worth a movie that a billion people will see. Your life is worth so much more than that, and you need to, like, get your shit in order, and then you can start making movies again. He ended up in a mental institution.
Yeah, I mean, no, don't we all with all this stuff?
Yeah.
No, but realistically though, I can't complain. I had the best part about the group was that, for sure there were many times we all didn't agree, with each other. Specifically, I think in life it's a life lesson. There'll be people who, no matter if you've never done anything to them, you've never said anything against them, you never gave them any reason to even, you know, think anything about you, they will not like you. Like, for sure, like.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, some people, man, I'm not like I'm like I talk a lot, and I like talk to, like, I'm social, I guess. But like some people, like, you just can't get a high from them, you know. They just don't like you. And it's normal, you know, not everyone's on the same vibes, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean,
Oh man.
I told you about, like, the first days of our group, right? Where I had this one individual in my group who I, for absolutely no good reason, was annoyed by. And
So what?
I was annoyed by this individual.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I knew I had no good reason. I didn't want to be annoyed
Told
by
me
this
as well.
person.
Yeah.
But I still was. And, like, at the end of this workshop, this individual is one of my most favorite people on earth right now. But still, that still happened, that I really did not like this person in the beginning.
No, I'm talking about someone who, like, the second they stepped in the room till the last till today, like, they like made it super clear, like they did not like me, and I don't understand why, because like, again, some people just don't like other people. But yeah, my film was, I think the funniest part about the film we made this year, The Postman, was that, like, whenever I write something, I always completely miss track and head into comedy. That's like my safe zone. And originally the tone of it was gonna be a lot funnier, especially the first cut was gonna be a very comedic thing.
Yeah.
Thriller is something I always wanted to play with, something I always want to do. Even, you know, I'd always be like, all the fucking good thrillers, the fucking ones which actually properly scare you, not just rely on, like, cheap jump scares, but actually build up stuff and tell you a good story.
I mean,
those are the ones I really like.
yeah.
You know, and it's tough to replicate that, because I think your show will be really cheesy, you know, if you had to just replicate a random thriller, you know, and all the cliches and whatnot. And being able to work in a group, and being able to work where I could put down the comedy have it kind of start off seeming like it's a light-hearted, happy film, but then have the character completely fall into a thriller. That's something I'm really happy with.
I really liked you started with like the most funny charismatic character. You set up this world in a funny sense, and you kind of caught us slightly off guard. I mean, we expected it to some degree that this movie would go to a thriller vibe because you built it up slowly like in a curve. And then it just ends with there's no comedy in the ending. There's a line which is funny, and then he fucking dies or something.
Yeah,
Just snap to black.
Yeah. I mean, what was amazing about the workshop was we had a really good mentor. Unlike last year, this year we had a really good mentor who, because the problem is last year we had a super strict mentor who like held our hand throughout the whole thing, spoon fed us, and took over and was a complete dictator. Which should, especially because I mean, I get you don't want one who's like too free and easy, but you do not like make your own film if you're the fucking mentor.
Yeah.
One thing for sure though, the easygoing, they don't really understand what to do. Mentors, though, those are bad as well. Giving too much freedom and not doing anything is not your job, and maybe there's no control there, but that's not good either. My mentor was so fucking good. He like from day one he got us to like get out of the room, walk around, discuss, and he's a very smart guy. So whenever something popped up, whenever something could have happened, he basically kind of worded his way around things. So instead of saying, oh no, that's a stupid idea, we can't do that, he'd be like, I'm hearing you, but what if this happens? And then as the person tries to explain their logic, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But like one thing for sure which was interesting was that whenever he saw that we were onto something and we were on the right track, he left us alone. He'd get up, he'd leave, and be like, the second you know this, tell me, or if you don't need me, don't need me. But on the first week, we were ready with a script on Sunday, ready to film on Monday, and he came up to us and he's like, I'd like to read it, before you get going. And when he was reading it, he was like finding all the mistakes in the script, in the sense like he's like, I can't visualize this, this is too fast, this doesn't make sense, this wouldn't go here. And I was like, don't forget guys, I'm pointing these out, but you know how to fix them, So he wasn't telling us, let's change the house from blue to red, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was telling us, well, if it's this type of house, don't forget, like maybe we don't find one over here, and basically he really helped us out every like step of the way into knowing what to do. And one thing to really relax us and give us inspiration, which was actually really interesting, he had a set of films, a bunch of short films, both like ones he watched and ones which are like his friends, and we'd just sit down and watch them, and they did inspire us. Like when we're on the track for a thriller, he showed us a thriller called the 10 Steps. Or 9 steps, I think. But it's extremely simple, and like if I may spoil it, spoiler alert. We got the ending from there. You know how like the Postman, and if you haven't watched the Postman, click the link below, but cover your ears. With the Russian guy's voice.
Yeah.
That was inspired by like the short film 10 Steps. It's basically a girl who's home alone and her parents are out at an important dinner, and the light goes out, and basically she needs to go downstairs to like switch off and on the electricity.
Yeah.
And it's dark and the house is creepy, and the daughter apparently has had this situation. She's scared because there's something, and her dad's like, okay, don't worry, there's only 10 steps. Count them slowly, step by step. So she goes 1, 2, 3. She starts counting, and once she reaches like she's like 9, and dad's like listening on the phone, and he's like 10, and the parents like, and then we stay on like the parents, and then they're like, and then we hear 11, 12, 13, 14, and then the film ends, and throughout the whole credits like 15, 16, 17, where basically there's only 10 steps, but somehow she keeps going downstairs.
Oh shit.
And it's as simple as that, and it gives you chills, you know? And that's kind of like one idea I had, where like, it's the guy, the fucking radio's on, there's some weird thing going on, there's some Russian poem playing, and once like, we hear something going towards him and the film ends, we just keep hearing this creepy ass poem, and that like stays with you, you know?
Yeah.
That like a lot of good went into the film, man. And for sure, I'd like to give you like some time to talk about your film, but it was like best case scenario for sure.
Yeah, you also like you had your cinematographer.
Whew.
He's nominated to Cannes.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. When you have a cinematographer as good as him, it's heaven.
Could I also just get a book or something?
Yeah.
But I mean, like the way he talks about cinematography, I've never heard any of the cinematographers I've ever worked with talk about cinematography the way he does. He went up because we watched one of his shorts. And he went up to the stage and he was like, when people usually tell about, you know, the choice to do black and white, they're like, we're going, it's an artistic choice, you know, we want you to take it more seriously. This guy is like, well, we had like a vision with color, right? But we didn't want anything to we didn't want the colors to distract from the story we're telling.
Yeah.
And you know, that's something that I've never even heard a DP consider. Maybe if I went to like Roger Deakins or someone who actually works in the industry full time as a DP, but not on the level we are at right now.
Yeah.
And that was just incredible. I think it would.
Of course, yeah.
I think working with him was incredible too.
For sure. I mean, what as like, you know, when I was like directing, I have a very simple like, hey, I have the shot in my head. I'm gonna tell you what I want to see. I might even tell you, hey, from over here, but it's up to you as a DP to paint it, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's different, sometimes I'm more like specific and strict and saying, oh, it has to look like this because it follows something that's coming up. But for the most part, especially as Mahdi told me, he's like, don't limit him, you know, let him be creative. So I wanted him to take over, like, you know, the cinematography.
Yeah.
And the easiest, the best I can say, like, what Ibrahim kind of does is when I asked him for a shot, he gave it to me, plain and simple. And when there was something complicated, which I wouldn't exactly know what it looked like, he'd give me more. He'd actually make it into a good shot.
Yeah.
We had a really tough, scene. It was very like short in the script, but it required a lot of shots. It's basically him wandering around the house.
Yeah.
And that's not easy because we didn't know what the house looked like. So legit on the day of filming, you know, since all this is going crazy, would be there like planning, oh, we shoot here, we shoot there and whatnot. And one of the rooms was a really weird room because it was full of old rock cassettes. There was like an old like gym thing going on. And basically he, one of the shots had this like really nice like wooden area, which can really go dark, and there was like one yellow light, and he set up this shot with like looking through a mirror, and the like character walks out of like a door, and like you see him through the mirror and stuff, and like whoops, I forgot my phone. Whoops a daisy. And like it's a gorgeous shot, like especially after the color grading, it was gorgeous. So I have zero complaints, and I wish to work with him again for sure.
I mean,
for sure.
Your cinematography was incredible. You expect that from this guy, but
yeah.
Your cinematography was amazing.
We had a red camera, but Ibrahim's cinematography was fucking amazing. But
this guy could get
this
guy could get the best quality out of your camcorder.
Oh man, exactly, and that's one thing and it wasn't only Ibrahim, because at the end of the day, we had a super good editor, with this Danish guy called Toby, and he's a fucking good editor. Like, not only is he a good editor, but he's super dedicated. Like he was on the day of editing, on Thursday. He was the first one to get to Tvibit. He was the first one to enter, and one of the last ones to leave. And when we had the final product, and we gave it in, and we watched it that night, we went back because he wanted to redo it so that it's even better, you know.
Yeah.
And his color grade, I'm telling you, like, certain shots looked like shit. The second he color graded them, they looked amazing. They looked amazing.
Your film in general looked amazing. It was amazing. The script was great.
Thanks, man.
The acting was great. And the music was great. Thanks you to Baron's sound design.
Yeah, no, everything was and I honestly, I kept like, when we were filming, I was like super excited because you see how everything works together. And I think at the end of the day, if we had to keep mentioning what was like perfect, location was like the dream location. Everything we wanted in the house was there. We had like zero problems filming there because every shot we had in mind we could do. With the male flap, like we had like one of the shots was a male flap. Like he's like from the inside of the house, extreme close up, we see his eyes. We loved the idea from the start. It's just that a shot like that, like you need like a really good male. Like you need to have a male flap in the house, and funnily enough, Tromsø almost had zero male flaps. I'm not even joking. Like we couldn't find any houses, and the one house which had everything we wanted had a male flap. So this was the best house. And as the last note about how amazing the house was, the idea of the radio. When we were like writing and stuff, I was like, hey, last year they had a film where they used the radio, which was your film, Divided. Yeah. And I was like, you know, if we are Stian or something, I'm sure they'll like lend it to us. And so we got it. We took it on set. And they're ready to film the like last scene, which was like in the radio room, and we were like we see the room like, you know, like with the door closed, and we're like, oh, we should film in there. We open the door and it's a room full of radios.
Jesus.
Like full of super old like radios from like the 70s and 80s, because the like owner's this like old rocker guy. Yeah. And he, you know, we're telling him like, oh, this is like perfect. We want it. He's like, oh, you want more? And he goes downstairs and gets like 5 more radios, and like we filled the whole room up. So when you look at the scene, there's like 5 or 6 radios there, you know, because like he had all those. So it was perfect, absolutely perfect as a what's called as a location. Yeah. So yeah, everything went smooth. So tell me a bit about Mend, Eric. Your film.
So we started out with 3 ideas. One of them I'm not even going to mention. 3 ideas, like, to boot. And 2 of them being Mend, and the other one being... Jesus fucking Christ. The other one being, like, a what's in the box, with a guy, like, entering a house for some reason. Maybe he's an assassin. We never... developed it that much. And finding a box, and what's in the box, we don't know. We had a lot of different ideas for that. But we ended up with this family drama between a girl who like left her home where her mom was and moved far away into Tromsø, right? Because she didn't like it there. And because of family illness, the mother takes up contact with the girl again and comes over and tries to get her home. And this whole story is actually about like mending family bonds. And we go through this whole argument of them basically just shouting at each other, getting their hate out, until they're like, oh shit, you have a point, oh shit, you have a point, right? And then they sit down. I love the way we shot this because it was my idea. No, but I had like this idea of never doing a dirty shot. Okay. You remember what a dirty shot is?
Yeah, 2 shot and it's blurred, yeah.
Never doing a dirty shot until they actually...
okay, I like that.
Until they actually talk to each other at the end.
Fair enough, yeah.
And we the photographers were up for the idea too, so that just went well. The dialogue we wrote was there was a lot of bad dialogue in there, but we through editing and just cutting out and cutting out.
Out of pure curiosity, why wasn't it in Norwegian? I mean, it's fine that it was in English, and
That-
I do all my stuff in English, but like, why
Yeah.
wasn't it Norwegian?
That was we wrote it in English because we're an international group and we never really questioned
Okay,
it.
because originally, like, just to like mention, like really quick, originally the Postman's like dialogue was all English.
Yeah.
Like I wrote it and like we'd never questioned it. And then Mahdi questioned it once. He was
Yeah.
like, I was like, hey guys, so why is he speaking English? And we were like, oh, so people understand. It's like, hey, let have him speak Norwegian. Then he can like improvise way better, and it will sound realistic. And boom,
Yeah,
boom.
I mean when you brought that up in the editing room, because you saw the first rough cut, which was
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh man.
But when you brought that up, I was like, oh shit, that's actually a good point. I'm gonna remember that for next year. But like the dialogue was, some of it was decent, some of it was some of it was terrible, but
No, but realistically, because the thing is, because I haven't seen enough of them to like say if they're good actors or not. But one thing I could say for sure is that they almost try to play it out like it's a soap opera, you know.
yeah,
So if they had a line which was like, "What does your heart what do you see in your? What do you feel with your heart?" You know, if you have like Tom Hanks, he can really like bring that out and will sound beautiful and poetic and can make people like think about it. But if you have like a random person going like trying to do an accent and trying to be like, what will you feel with your heart? It will sound cheesy, and I think that's one of the like things we need to stay out, like watch out for, you know. But
Yeah.
English.
So one of the actors is currently studying acting, so you can't like you can't expect her to be Tom Hanks.
Of course. I was talking about the mom though.
Yeah, the mom I just think we gave her bad direction. That's it.
And it's good to be honest about that.
Yeah, I am terrible at directing actors. It's something I've tried to improve, but I've never been able to improve.
Oh shit.
I think I've gotten better, but I don't think I'm at the point where
it's not the easiest.
actually good. And it's hard to understand. I'm trying to read through the giant 500-page book on directing, so I can actually
get something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the best directors I've seen and worked with are people who are stage coaches.
Exactly.
Ones who can really like know what they need to ask for, you know.
The best directors I personally know are also have like a background in acting.
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
There was a movie here called Blue. Did you see that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, the person who made that is a friend of me and Stian, and she has, if I remember correctly, she has a background in acting, and seeing her direct on set is just an incredible experience because I was working with I was PA on one of her shorts a while ago, which is also incredible. And just seeing her getting the performance out of these actors.
Oh yeah.
It was,
didn't know exactly what to tell
yeah.
them.
I mean, people were crying on set. That is, I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
The boom operator had to like hold in the tears.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That good.
And Jesus fucking Christ.
When you have a good director, you have a good director.
She is the best director I personally know.
Yeah.
I know a few directors now, but she's just like...
Yeah, she's up there.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, one thing I can say is, like, for example, I know this director in Malta who's, like, who was an actor before. And one thing, like, I always thought, especially, like, because he works mostly commercial-wise, one thing he told me is that at the end of the day, you just need to do whatever it takes. Cause like especially like he said that like he always brings the story up where he had a child he had to like do a commercial with, and he just wouldn't pay attention. He wouldn't like do anything, and so they had to like trick him into walking. And like if they had a shot of the kid walking, he'd like grab like a sweet or something and like put it on the side so they had to run towards it. And I think rather than just being a good stagecoach, you have to really understand what you want, to describe
Yeah.
it to the actors. Because sometimes, at the end of the day, like, same as the DP stuff, I'd want them to do their own thing. I'd want to go over it in rehearsals so they know what they have to say in their own way. But at the end of the day, when it's being filmed, you need to just let loose,
Yeah.
you know?
One of the things I do when I make stuff
Mm-hmm.
is that I have like a standoff approach when it comes to like camera and I can't like do sound for shit, so I'm very offhand with that. But especially with the camera, I'm like, I think this shot would be great. What do you think? And sometimes they just get the shot. Sometimes they're like, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But not actually like that. But
No, I don't think.
I do a lot of documentary for to earn money, right? And once I brought a photographer friend of mine, and she'd actually never done proper cinematography. So she's just carrying around the red, and I'm going around like, okay, we need to tell this, and this, and she just picks up the shots. There's some shots where I come with suggestions. She does them, she tries them, and like, I get what I need. And the approach that I do there with just suggestions really helps, find my vision with her eye kind of thing. Give them, they're the creative, but I also get what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that's like the best part about Nuff, like working with so many random people. Like, whew, like it's sometimes it's crazy, like less of a dictator thing. I'd really want to kind of help around. I don't know if I'm sugarcoating it too much, but for example, on the first day of filming, after 2 hours of filming, everyone wanted a break. And I personally wanted to keep going, because 2 hours is fuck all. But seeing everyone take a break, especially all of you wanted to go take a smoke, I was like, okay, guys, 20 minutes break. And I was talking to the person whose role was to be producer, Ragni, and we're like, hey, we should get a snack for everyone. Like, there's a convenience store nearby. We'll have the petty cash, and we started walking, and she's like jogging. And I'm like, what happened? It's like, oh, I left it at Vibit, which was like 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
But it's still uphill and stuff. So we ran. It was actually really fun. We ran all the way up to Vibit to get the money. Ran all the way down. Bought like a shit ton of like croissants and shit, like warm food. A packet of Smash. And basically we ran all the way back. Like, so our entire like break, like 3/4 of our break consisted of us running to get like people's stuff, and get back and get everyone the sand. Everyone has their croissant, and basically, people complained because they're like, "Oh, that's not enough," and "Oh, that's like this not. It should be better organized. You could save a lot more money if you didn't just buy expensive things." Like, okay, then you do it, and they're like, "Yeah, fine, we'll do it. We'll do a really good job." The next fucking, did I tell you what happened? Oh
Yeah.
God, the next day. The and again, I don't mean this with offense, but the geniuses who like discovered the best, like cheapest and most efficient way of catering, bought like bought sliced bread with nothing else, and they found something that cost like 5 krones, which was these like disgusting ass crackers, which like legit felt like biting into plastic and tasted like Bovril, and they tasted like pure shit, and like those aren't even meant to be eaten like on their own. They're supposed to have like stuff on them. So it's like imagine like eating uncooked pasta for the sake of budget cuts.
Jesus
Um,
Christ.
But like the thing is like they were so proud of themselves and like, oh, we did all the catering, and like they did fuck all. We did not eat on set. We like finished and then went to eat. You know. Oh god, yeah, that's a funny thing that happened for sure.
Can I give like everyone who ever listens to this podcast, which is like 3
Like
people?
5 people. There's gonna be like 2 people I'm gonna like make listen to when I go
Yeah.
to their house. You know, like that's really it.
Yeah. Feed your crew. Feed your crew
Yeah,
properly.
yeah. And
Uh,
hot food as well, guys.
Yeah.
Not
Uh,
like back home. I'd worked on a short film, and I don't want to mention names just in case, but the person who was ADing had a bit of an issue because the food which was on the way got stuck, and we had to send someone to get it, and to go there and come back was a long drive, but there was extremely heavy traffic, and so the food arrived like way later than it was supposed to, and there was one point where the DP, who's like an extremely good DP, had was doing a lot of the work because it was a very artsy film. Like when we like took 5 minutes off, he's sitting down and he's like, man, I need to eat something, and the AD like quickly like to kind of compensate, like grabs like biscuits or something,
Yeah.
that there were there. It's like, no, I need food. He's like, no, I need food to eat, and he's like, yeah, it's on the way, and everyone ate, but like. But yeah, people need to eat. I have a problem on. I'll see what happens in the future, but like, July, my film, like we have roughly 8 hours of filming, and we have a lot of scenes, and so it like we have like a plan for catering, especially like we have a lot of warm food and homemade food, which is gonna like be really good. It's just that we can't afford like a 20-minute break. We cannot.
No,
we
just
cannot.
set up a snack table so they can go and eat.
The problem is we have a
all the
lot of
time.
extras, so we have a lot of people going and taking stuff. So we need to make sure that like in between takes and in between scenes, the actors like have something. But
Yeah.
like we cannot afford to like stop for not even like 20 minutes.
You need a good PA.
Oh yeah.
Seriously, you need a PA who does their job, gets the food, and goes around set
Yeah.
being like, "Hey, you want a bite?" I mean,
yeah.
Almost every proper set I've been a PA on, that's my base job. I go around, make sure people are fed, I make sure people get their water, their coffee.
Yeah. I mean that's what we fucking did,
Yeah.
like make sure, yeah.
Because when people are busy in
They don't even think about it, yeah.
especially in this business, because this is a passion business for most people.
Exactly.
People forget themselves. I forget
Hours
myself.
can pass.
Yeah.
Hours can pass, especially, and not only like on set, man, editing wise.
Yeah.
Toby, like there, because I was like with Toby the entire day. Because like one thing Toby said that he'd always need, he knows what he has to do. It's just that he wouldn't know what the story would need, So it's good to just be sitting next to him and tell him, oh yeah, it's important that this follows this shot, And there were times where we would be like 5 hours in, and it would be like, oh shit, it's like 5 hours passed, so you lose yourself in that time. You'd need to like quickly like have something to eat and whatnot.
Yeah, you really do.
Anyways, how long have we been going at this?
43 minutes?
That's not bad. Last year it was like an hour long with this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about, but like, we're super duper tired, and
Yeah.
tomorrow morning we're leaving Tromsø.
Before we go though,
Yeah.
Nuff also, except for like the workshop, it has several short films. Are there any standout films for you this year
For the festival.
for the festival that were shown?
That's a good one. I mean, I maybe it's a personal bias. I really liked Mary and Ibrahim's films.
Mm-hmm.
There's a film called Her and I, and also The Living Room. Those I really liked, even though I met the people before and stuff. Though I specifically like those. There was that one film though. Well, there was the end film, Summer Hit. I liked,
Mm-hmm.
but there was a film of that guy at the party with like. his ex-lover or something, and
Yeah.
like he's awkward.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it, and it really hurt me because it was right before my film, and like throughout the entire thing, I was loving it, but I was like, fuck, you have this like really well shot with a good budget with good acting, and it's like right before my film, like fuck. Oh no, that if I had to like remember anything specific, it was that one.
That was an incredible film.
Yeah. Were there any films you didn't like? Which
Oh
got
man,
in?
notes.
Or a shit
I'm
film.
kidding. There were films that I didn't like, but I've been tired all fucking week, so like
Yeah,
all the movies kind of
Yeah,
mesh
yeah.
in my head right now, especially the ones that were bad. I
Yeah.
just don't remember them
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, to be fair, in my opinion, it's not necessarily the bad films, but more the pretentious films.
yeah,
Like, I mean, if I had to just like pick out one of the many, the fish one.
I found that to be a stupid, funny.
like it's like you can't say it's enjoyable, I guess.
I really.
But
I mean, it had. I found no purpose in it, but I really enjoyed it because it was silly. I don't think it actually took itself too seriously, but it
like
also
you can feel that they're very like artsy, like cunts. Like even the
Yeah.
helmet, how it was like, oh, look at all the messages we're doing. Like no.
I mean, there is a lot of pretentious behind that film,
Oh yeah.
but I think the end product is just silly, and I loved it for that.
Yeah. It was like honestly, I'm giving it a lot of shit. The more I think about it, the more like you can like they didn't take it too serious. It's just that when it's overdone, man. Yeah. Some films. Because then, okay, for example, I enjoy like well done artsy films. Like you know the one of the girl who has her period and she's like, that's like super well done. You know, like extremely well done.
Yeah.
You know, it had a like it wasn't afraid to have a story, but it let us understand what it's trying to tell us. You know,
Yeah.
like that's a fucking proper artsy film. You know, you don't just throw three dudes like walking around doing nothing, and you're like, oh, this is an explanation about life, death, and insurance. Like no, fuck off.
There's also a animated short, which is just environments slowly falling apart. I think it was, and the title translated to. The feeling of feeling out of place and not being like, not being part of something, etc.
Yeah.
I had to search up the title to understand the movie.
Yeah.
But when you actually understand, you know what the word, the title is, and what that means. It suddenly makes a lot more sense. But because I had to actually search that up, I think it's a bad movie.
Jeez. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, titles are so fucking important. And especially today, like, one thing I noticed is that in the past, the, like, crazier title isn't stuff, like, the better, but, like, the especially the Pixar rule of having one word that can describe the entire film plus. Something extremely simple, but and that you can easily remember, but I think things are moving away from that. Like for example, if you had to consider Up, that's perfect, absolutely perfect. But like if you had to take three billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, like
Jesus Christ,
like when you have such a good film and such a specific name. Like, at least someone like me would remember the name.
Yeah.
Or just call it Three Billboards,
I mean, I yapped about that movie for the longest time. And I will never be able to forget the title Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah. It's like it describes everything, no?
Mm-hmm.
But like even like some things didn't work. Like some of the best films ever made struggled because of their name. And lots of people know this with Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption had a huge issue with its name because the original name was like Shawshank Prison, something like that. And then they were going to just call it Shawshank. And then they ended up calling it Shawshank Redemption or The Shawshank Redemption. And Although it's a cult classic, considered one of the greatest movies ever made.
Cult classic. It's on the top IMDb.
Yeah. It's like it has all this like stuff.
Yeah.
But it did shit in the box office because it basically couldn't market itself, you know. Because the second sounds like, I saw a really good film recently. It's about people in prison. Like, what's it called? Something, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it didn't hit, and like if it had something like, I don't know if it was called Prison. I know that sounds silly, but like if it's something extremely simple, you know, then more people would have like at least I don't know what I'm saying, but like maybe like marketing wise would have been better, you know. Like that year, there's another funny story. That year in I think it was 1995 Oscars, they had a bit of a problem, because like the best kind of problem were in 1994, Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, and Shawshank Redemption all came out.
Yeah.
And so, who the fuck wins what, you know? It was a tough one. But for sure, Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction, like, did way better, like, commercially than Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're better films, even though maybe I prefer them, but geez, like, it makes a big difference. A big difference.
It really does.
Yes. Speaking about names and shit, we're the Coffee Boys. This is episode 2. We're like, yeah, we really wanted to do this. We almost forgot. And we'll see for next time. I mean, realistically, can I just say this? There isn't a chance that we will be here for sure next year.
Yeah.
So if anything, the third episode might be coming out whenever.
Yeah.
It's just that we'll really try hard to make it, because this is something fun.
Woo!
Yeah. So guys, take care. You stay listening to all this. You have nothing to do with your life. Hey Eric, you know what time it is?
It's time for a coffee break.
Woo! Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet. See you next year, guys.
See you.